There's something so pure and genuine about a dog. When you have a dog in your life, it teaches you to have compassion. They really understand us. If there's one negative thing about dogs, and there's only one, and that's that they don't live that long. Right after I graduated from college, I got my best friend. Jada she's just perfect. The first time that I saw her, she walks in really excited and she stares at me in the eyes, and before actually approaching me, she just squats down, and I don't want to be too graphic, but it was loose.
The benefits of therapy dogs. One of the reasons we have such a thriving and ever-growing dog industry is that people are convinced there are benefits to being in the presence of a dog. They believe the benefits outweigh the inconveniences of owning a dog. But do they? Are there really any benefits at all? In this video, we will begin to unravel the truth.
To us, the distressed look is always in style. Our windows are rarely smudge-free. And we wear our hearts, well, on everything. We are pet parents. Welcome to the pack. Where an accident here, some stray fur there, and the occasional surprise are no big deal. We're done apologizing for our wild welcome committee and the imperfections they bring. Because starting the moment we meet them, we no longer see messes, but love. A whole lot of love. Whatever stage of pet parenthood you're in, this'll help you live in the moment, not the mess.
It is a part of the human condition to follow the crowd. Many people like to think they are above being like sheep, when in actuality they are doing the same thing that everyone else is doing, without thinking for themselves. To some extent, we all do it, because we really wouldn't get through the day if we didn't. Throughout human history, we followed what others did in our group. For survival and efficiency, if everyone was eating the red berries and no one was getting sick, we would then eat the red berries ourselves, believing, most likely correctly, that it's safe to eat. If we didn't do this, we would have to investigate every single thing ourselves from the beginning. We would have to test the contents of a coffee before we drink it, test what's actually in any food we buy, and we wouldn't be able to go on an airplane or anything without starting from scratch to make sure it was an okay thing to do. It's not practical, and we would not get anything done if we did it like that. So, humans have always learned from and trusted the knowledge and skills of other humans that came before them, following what they did. This, for the most part, steered us correctly and kept us safe. It allowed us to build on our knowledge and move forward instead of figuring everything out ourselves. Unfortunately, this human tendency can occasionally steer us in the wrong direction. When everyone starts thinking and believing something that is wrong, and they repeat it enough times, most people will not question it. They will accept it as fact, as actual knowledge. It may even seem as if there are scientific tidbits to back up this fact. It becomes so accepted as fact that if someone says, "That's completely false," people will be shocked and might even get angry. That's because it disrupts their version of reality in which they feel safe. Enter therapy dogs. Everyone knows it's been scientifically proven that dogs are beneficial to human beings, right? Let's look at a recent article praising the benefits of therapy dogs visiting patients in the emergency room and recommending that the practice should even be expanded so more people can benefit from it. An article on the site Everyday Health titled "Therapy Dogs Can Help Ease Pain in the Emergency Room" by Becky Upham was reviewed and fact-checked on March 14th, 2022. She begins by telling us that a 10-minute visit from a therapy dog has been shown to have a lot of benefits with no downsides. I don't know in which galaxy the presence of dogs has no downsides, but it's certainly not true in the one I reside in. Reported benefits included reduced pain, anxiety, and depression for patients in the emergency room department. Already, I'm skeptical. It seems really odd to me that you could either increase, decrease, or self-diagnose a permanent condition like depression during an emergency room visit. When you are suddenly under acute stress, the dog distracts you from your long-term problems. Co-author of the study, Colleen Dell, PhD, professor and researcher at the University of Saskatchewan, said that this was the only study which focused on patients in the emergency room. What did they find? Well, the bold headline states, nearly 1 in 2 people had improvement in pain after a therapy dog visit. Wow, that's pretty good! It rivals the success of a lot of drugs, and it has no downsides. But wait, when I continue reading, it says it has a lot of benefits, provided that you like dogs. If you like dogs, then interacting with one of these trained pooches can lower anxiety, lower blood pressure, and reduce pain. After doing the study, they found that 48% had a reduction in anxiety, 43% reported a reduction in pain, and 46% experienced less depression. There was no difference in heart rate or blood pressure after the dog visit. So information contained in the very same article claiming a reduction in blood pressure was a lie. They concluded by stating in bold that findings support the value and importance of therapy dogs in hospital settings. But does it? A visit from a therapy dog did not have any effect on the 2 objectively measurable things, heart rate and blood pressure. It only subjectively improved pain, anxiety, and depression, and for less than half of the patients. Also, it only helped those who already liked dogs. But there is still some benefit, right? Well, you might be surprised to know that this is less beneficial than the placebo response. Yes, a placebo is more effective than a visit from a therapy dog. Gastroenterologist Noel Hirschfield did a study in 1997, which was published in the Canadian Journal of Gastroenterology. He found that in trials comparing narcotics with placebo drugs for pain control, the number of patients that obtained the placebo response was 55%. That's right, placebos work 55% of the time, and therapy dogs work from 41 to 48% of the time, which is lower than that. Contrary to popular perception, the majority of people are not happy to see a dog. The majority of the people did not benefit whatsoever from seeing a dog when they were in pain. The effect of placebos is not just psychological, as many people believe. To quote Gabor Mate, although induced by a thought or emotion, the placebo effect is entirely physiological. It is the activation of neurological and chemical processes in the body that serve to reduce symptoms or to promote healing. The placebo effect can actually cause an increase of endorphins and dopamine. Placebos really can benefit you without any downsides. Drugs and dogs both have downsides. If a dog is less effective than a placebo, it is deemed ineffective. All drugs have the potential to do harm. At least placebos cause no harm. It is unconscionable to even consider, let alone bring to reality. The administration of a medical therapy that is actually less effective than a placebo, but is capable of causing great harm and injury to a person who receives it. A therapy that is less effective than a placebo should, at the very least, do no harm. For too long, we have been hearing all about the many magical benefits that being in the presence of a dog can have on human beings. It's all essentially a lie, because all of it fails to consider the many, many other things a human being could find comfort and benefit in. The most important of which is being in the company of other human beings. The single most important thing that trauma victims need in order to begin to heal is being able to share their stories and experiences with other human beings, to have their experiences and pain known, seen, and acknowledged by another. It is only then that you are no longer alone in your pain, which is the most dangerous aspect. The truth is, this is not just what trauma victims need, it's what everyone needs. Obviously, this needs to be obtained from another human. I don't care how many people continue to tout the benefits of bonding with pets rather than human beings. It isn't right, and it's not what humans need to be doing, because the creature cannot see or understand you, so you are still alone in your experiences, good or bad. It also can't share your joy when something good happens. It is simply not the therapy human beings need. How does our society seem to be doing with our ever-growing praise and connection with pets rather than human beings? Is this helping human loneliness? We are ever more pet-obsessed, yet we are in a collective mental health crisis. We need to be connecting with other human beings, not animals. Not because they can't judge, but because they don't have the ability to discern anything. People need to find humans they can trust, no matter how difficult it seems. Our culture has dramatically raised the value of pets, a conspiracy started by the pet food industries to encourage people to spend more money on them. By raising the value of pets, we have, by comparison, lowered the value of human beings, ourselves, by a lot. If you put someone down, you comparatively raise your own value. That's why people do it. It works. Even young children understand that this tactic works. The reverse is true. If you raise the value of something, the other will, by comparison, go down. We have reached a point of this now that if people saw it 30 years ago, they would not believe it was real. The slow boil effect. They would think it was a science fiction nightmare if they saw our present-day dog culture. People can't possibly be prancing around singing about how they would literally do anything for a pet, can they? This can't be real. Did we run out of humans to have as companions? Did the government outlaw having children and say that we are to have only pets as children? What happened? If we have finally figured out the answer to human loneliness, if the answer was that we needed to forsake human connections and turn to bonding with a different species altogether, a species which did not even exist in nature but we engineered, to be dependent on us, if this is the answer, then why isn't it working? Unlike a human companion, anyone, regardless of looks, cleanliness, financial status, ability to form a sentence, his moral compass, or criminal tendencies, can simply purchase a companion or family member on the weekend. Then why isn't it working? Maybe in truth, our connections with others need to be of a higher standard, of which require a greater effort.
I'd do anything for you, dear. Anything
For you mean everything to me.
I know that I'd go anywhere.
For your smile, anywhere.
For your smile, everywhere I'd see.
Paint your face bright blue.
Anything.
Catch a kangaroo, anything.
Go to Timbuktu and back again.
I'd risk everything.
For one kiss, everything.
Yes, I do anything.
Anything.
Is the sweater too much?
Anything?
Anything.
Now, back to the emergency room study. Let's remember that a 10-minute visit from a therapy dog also comes with a handler, a human being to talk to you and distract you from your pain. Anything that serves as a novelty and a distraction will help a patient relax and forget why he is there. Although, as we saw, therapy dog visits actually had a remarkably low success rate. Less than half of the people subjectively felt any benefit at all from being in the presence of a dog, despite the relentless brainwashing that our society is currently subjected to. So, let's also remember that it is an outright lie that a visit from a therapy dog has no downsides. Even if it actually did work, it is an extremely expensive tool that needs to be constantly upkept, needs to be fed, needs to shit and piss constantly, needs rigorous training to learn how to do nothing, and is a vector for many types of harmful bacteria and parasites that are not natural to humans. A dog is the last thing that should be entering an emergency room. And maybe any of the benefit at all was because of the visit from a human handler. The only upside to it is that if the dog decides to randomly attack you because, say, someone moves too quickly or coughs or something, is that you are already in a hospital. As you can see, that glowing report about the multiple benefits of therapy dogs in the emergency room is essentially a pack of lies. The misinformation was presented as if it was fact, and no one questioned it. Until now. My fellow crusaders can use the information in this video to debunk reports claiming that there are benefits to therapy dogs. It's bogus. My next video will explore the benefits of children reading to dogs in schools and libraries. Spoiler alert, there aren't any. Love is the only thing that matters, and dogs don't have it to give.